evening and welcome to this segment of the Hot Seat tonight, where we host pundits and journalists to discuss topical issues of the night and of the week. My name is Derek Wandera. I'm your host tonight. I have in my hands the Saturday Monitor, the making of the president. And you'll see all the faces there of the 8 candidates, and in the middle of them is the State House, meaning that's what exactly they are vying to enter into, inshallah. So many other stories. The Battle of Mbale puts 2 Mhozi allies in warpath, and Nyanjura, of course, determined to end NRM's dominance in Toro. Nyanjura, who is the deputy Lord Mayor right there, inside the gangs of Eastern Uganda. Quite many interesting stories in the Saturday Monitor. That's just on your streets. You can go buy 2,000 shillings and you read very interesting stuff in there. Now, I have been hauled for more than 11 hours at Electoral Commission because I wanted to get white smoke. I'll speak about it after introducing my panel. I have Isaac Kayonde, who is almost Gomba's finest. Yeah. I have Dismas Nkunda. Is that the way I'm supposed to? Nkunda.
Love me.
Oh.
It is a love thing. You don't just see the man here. It's a lover, even at
I see.
Please, don't tell it to women. Or you go to Bali,
veteran journalist, right there. I have Obed Katurebe, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the Uganda Media Center. Acting, not deputy. Acting Executive Director of the Uganda Media Center. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Wandera.
They should confirm him soon.
I don't know why they are delaying. You know, this hot shit should be one of those places that she should be confirmed. And I have Jimmy Achelam Odoki from the civil society. Welcome, but you're also very red. Welcome to the show, Jimmy. So what's happening right now is that eight candidates who were nominated on Thursday, that was yesterday, are going through what they call a harmonization process, where the President Museveni will have to choose which path to take if he is taking the eastern path. Which road is it like you are going to use to go to your first rally? And which one is which one is Muntu going to take, and all the others. And that harmonization program seemed easy until I waited for every minute that passed by. The spokesperson of Electoral Commission told me it is in the next, they are coming to address you in the next minute. Until now, since 9 a.m. in the morning, nothing has come out. And I want us to begin from that harmonization of candidates' programs and vis-a-vis the nominations. I know in the last election there were so many clashes. At some point, the Honorable Chagulanyi was denied entrance into Amolatar through Lira because Mao was campaigning in Lira, and the explanation was we cannot host 2 principals in one district. Or there was another when the Honorable Chagulanyi was thrown out of Hoima when Patrick Oboya Muriat of FDC was coming in. And so that harmonization is what is happening to avoid some of those glitches. I want to begin with you, Dismas. In your experience covering elections in this country, and of course I'll come to you, Obed, and I don't want you to speak like the government spokesperson today. I want you to speak like a journalist.
No, I'm not speaking as a journalist.
No. Dismas, in your experience covering elections, after nominations, with all the complaints that have been pouring at Electoral Commission, you did this. Some of them have actually alleged and accused some of the EC officials of corruption, asking them for money for them to enter their signatures into the system such that they can be nominated. What at this time would you be looking at? What would you be thinking to be your next story, especially when rallies, campaigns begin on Monday?
I wouldn't know which stories to run, but I think that harmonization process, I think it's very important. We were helped in the last election that we had COVID, which was the one that separated the candidates. Some of them, like Museveni, the NRM candidate, wasn't that much seen in various places. I think the person who did most of that was Chaguranyi. So the point is, given, you remember, I think it was on Friday when we were talking that when Bobi Wine goes for nomination and he wants to, on the same day that Museveni is being nominated, and then he wants to go through town and go to Katwe.
Yes.
Good enough, he went on a Wednesday, the next day, which I think for purposes of the security and the inconvenience that people are going through in this period of election until we hold the election, it's okay. Only that there are some candidates, of course, who attract more attention than others, and those ones, for sure, wherever they will be much more commotion. I mean, look today. I think the president was somewhere today.
Yes.
How many people have been inconvenienced not to move at all? I won't say some of those who are my friends who are inconvenienced, but it's there. So it's going to happen. Now the point is, does the EC have the capacity to be able to separate them? Because some of them might end up passing on the same road, going in different directions. Someone might be going to one is going to Lira, another one is going to Gulu. They are all going to pass through Karuma. So what happens in that case, unless they also synchronize the times, say you have to leave at night, or another one you have to leave in the evening, so that they don't, their supporters don't clash.
And just speaking of roads, thankfully, President Museveni didn't have crowds around him in the last election because he was observing the COVID regulations and stuff. But the convoy of the president met with a crowd of Bobi Wine in Iganga on that day, and one wonders if the same crowd had been on the side of President Museveni and they meet in the middle of town of Iganga, what would have happened? Obed, these are times when every political journalist is on their tenterhooks, trying to look out for the best angling and the best story that can come out. In your experience, how important is the process of harmonization, and for you, what kind of message does this trigger to you?
No, I think this is very crucial for Electoral Commission, so that we don't have some unnecessary incidents like Arua. I don't know why you're forgetting Arua.
Yes, in Arua, yes.
Yeah, it was very wrong for someone to allow two candidates to be in the same town and even finish at the same time. And of course, what happened, we all know, you know it. But so far, I think maybe, I'm sorry to say, you're reading too much into the delaying. The delaying could be maybe they are trying to, as much as possible, to make sure that the mapping and the movements do not clash. I have no problem even if they delayed and announced maybe on Sunday, but at least they have done a very, very thorough work. As journalists, I think we've been denied a story, especially certain circles, because the nomination people expected, again, scandal, clashes and whatever, but the way it was arranged, it was seamless, it was all okay. I even saw on some TV regurgitating old stories of 2021 because and images of 2021, and I was wondering someone would argue that they were trying to put a perspective, but I think it's because they didn't have a story in their or what they thought they would have.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling, going by the last elections, that was troubling because of the COVID-19. There is a systematic, there is a cautious approach, both by security and the electoral commission, to have as a smooth election as possible. To me, it gives me confidence that maybe the delay you witnessed could be in preparation of a very, very, very comforting electoral period where we don't have necessary clashes and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It wasn't comforting, as you might put it, because we were tear gassed. The entire group that was going for nominations was tear gassed around Namungona, but to the credit of government and the police to say, the tear gas were not as many as we expected.
Again,
we are very happy that the tear gas canisters were fewer.
Simon, like I was saying, sorry, Isaac, you were trying to look for a story you wanted. So you went off the express highway. You were trying to throw yourself in the Kasubi, and the police just threw some to take you back. You are looking for a story.
We are not the ones who are doing it. As journalists,
looking for a story.
As a journalist, you have to look for the story.
Just to give you context in this.
Yes, Isaac, it's your time.
Thank you. I had a conversation with Derek Wandera here. I have it on phone. He said, you know what, Katiwano tugenda kufa.
Yes.
I told the man, no, this one is a different one. Please believe Mao when he tells you that this is going to be a quiet one. You know, I feel like the desire, and you've seen those images of 2021 coming back now, the desire to win the sympathy vote is so high in the opposition that I won't be surprised if there is some drama being done out there just to create that image for other people. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Police will probably be involved at all levels, you know, and we just pray that, you know, you don't have those scenes that we had last time. None of us wants such things to happen, but in the event that, you know, they do, police will be there to handle them. That's for sure.
But even the last time it happened, police was there.
The police that was bringing them.
No. I mean, one thing you have to understand, and people emotions. For example, things like Arua, and unfortunately Bobby Wine's driver who died and everything. There was an incident where the vehicle of the president was.
Why don't you?
Please.
No. That's. I mean, it's okay for you not to not to believe it.
Isaac,
so it's
about another one.
Yeah, no, I know for sure.
They crisscrossed each other.
No, they didn't cross. The man was leaving. Listen, the president was going to.
Isaac.
You want us to go back there? Anyway, I want to give you the facts because it seems like he didn't want. You get SFC secured the president first and came back for the boys. You get?
Yes.
It was a thing of they couldn't stop in the heat of the moment to sort out the issue, but they had noticed. They went, the president got into the helicopter and left. When the president left, the boys said, aha, let's go back and fix this problem. Now, I'll tell you, it's not unique, by the way, around presidential convoys. Back in the day, the Kenyatta issue in Kisumu, the man went, and of course, the same scenarios. You come, you speak, and then you leave. People are insulting. He was in the western part of Kenya, where he wasn't really popular. 200 people died. 200. That was the beginning of their issues, and it has never recovered from that time. You know, so the sensitivity of the presidential. The security of the president is not something to play with. But I digress. You asked a question about nomination and harmonization and things like that. In my opinion, the delays will definitely have to be forged around the president. You know, and there is no harm in it because the Constitution, as it states, doesn't create a vacuum when the president goes for elections. He still remains the president of the country. So I'm thinking that harmonization may be as a result of the timetable of the president, will be considered before any other. Just like, so we can't pretend and assume that it is unfair or there are some other sinister motives around it. I just feel like the president should be given priority in that regard, because he still remains the president despite the fact that he's campaigning. And yeah, the rest will fall in line.
Yeah, there are skirmishes of incidents. There is an incident that happened in Mbale where I think police officers were tearing down a candidate's poster, and
the one which was on television yesterday.
Yes, and I think
there was one in downtown and then another one.
Yes, in Mbale, and those incidents are very ugly. They are uncouth, unpalatable, unbecoming. And very barbaric. Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we return,
that's why everybody's condemning that. When I was in some place, I was talking about climbing you, but
welcome back. Quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen.
Uganda.
We are talking about Nancy Kalembe's accusation of being asked for a bribe of 20 million, and then later she was asked for another 14. And I want to come to you, Jimmy. Jimmy, we were discussing earlier the harmonization of the programs of these candidates, what it means for the coming election, but also what you think about the entire process.
I think it's a good thing to harmonize, but it's majorly looking at President Museveni and Bobi Wine. Mostly the other, can there be confusion, clashes when the other presidential candidates meet? So I think they have delayed because, as Isaac said, they are considering a program of the president first. And yeah, it's mainly between the two. It's looking likely to be a two-horse race. Yeah. The others, when they meet, I don't think the supporters of Mafabi can fight the supporters of Muntu or cause any confusion. So I don't know why the permutation, the calculation takes a very long time. But I think they give the same weight to all of them, just to be fair. They say that all of them are considered. But majorly, if there are issues, it would be between President Museveni, the NRM candidate, and the new candidate. It's
of course it goes without saying, but in this election, I in my view, I think we need to cut some slack for some people like Nandala Mafabi, especially when he comes to articulate the economic question of this country. He's one astute economist and stuff like that, and I feel he's one person who is going to endear quite a sizable number of voters to his side because of some of his ideas and stuff like that. We are going to dig deep into what the messaging looks like for these candidates and how it could sway supporters to themselves. And I want to begin with you, Obed. The NRM candidate seems to be telling us a little bit more of the same in his economic question, addressing the poverty alleviation programs in among the youth, giving loans to some graduates after 2 years who haven't gotten any job, giving them some money, addressing the issues of some communities and stuff like that. Don't these programs exist right now? The Youth Livelihood Fund, the PDM, the Intandikwa that used to be there. Is there anything the president is promising that is new?
But I mean, why would he promise a new thing when the one that he initiated is successful? Is not working. No, he's successful.
Success. What do you measure success?
How do you saw figures by UBOS, and they weren't so bad. Poverty level was reduced to somewhere below 20%.
They are not below 20, they are 23%.
20 something.
20 and 23.
You correct. Let me go by your word. Correct to the nearest. So, life expectancy, abject poverty also dropping, literacy levels. I mean, there are trends. I mean, then we go into employment. How unemployment and stuff. Unemployment and if say PDM, Emyoga, has it changed people's lives? Has it created jobs for the young ones? I mean, I don't think it. I will not say it is a complete success, but I mean, if he measures and by his statistics, it is something that is giving hope to people, then he can't think of another thing. And when you read these people's manifestos, they're just one and the same. I also, Mafabi, talk about cooperatives and how cooperatives will change people's lives. But cooperatives is what Museveni is into. With all his heart and soul. Which one? Subcos and whatever. Subcos, what do you call them?
The cooperatives.
I mean, okay, but the cooperatives that Nandala is talking about are not the ones that they are not
but
the Subcos.
Even those ones are being revived. At a big level.
Have you forgotten the ones
40 years later?
This woman, what took the Minister of PS Trade is what?
What was
so,
it?
they're talking about poverty eradication. That's what Museveni's song. These other funds he's giving.
So it has even become a song.
No, I'm saying it is his passion that's what he talks about day in, day out. They all talk about they all talk about industrialization to create jobs, to turn around the economy. I mean, he told you the other day, maybe he didn't listen. He said for 5 years to have doubled the size of the economy. It's a miracle he has performed. So don't read about the rhetorics. It is just all the rhetoric talk about the same. What else would you talk even if it were you? You talk about getting people out of poverty, you talk about industrialization, you talk about jobs, you talk about science and innovation.
I think the question
that is your word as well. You say the word is arresting criminalized politicians. No, those who have been criminalized, who are a danger to society, you'll be taken. You just want to sweep around certain things. I just can't understand our journalists. So when Eddie Mutwe and his gang beat you journalists and destroyed your cameras, you swept
me?
In Masaka. I'm saying you as a journalist.
You were not.
The journalists came and said, no, they didn't. Because they withdrew those statements. They withdrew the statements.
Compromised fake people. I mean, if it was the NRM would have sang it for, like now you still sing about Kawempe. Kawempe. You've never left Kawempe. Why didn't you sing the massacre incident of Chaguaranyi's mobs to the journalists? And you think it endless.
Probably want to add onto Obed's submission.
Yes, I think for me, I mean, our candidate did very well.
Who is your candidate?
Of course, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Very well in what?
For avoidance of doubt, yes. I have a problem with
because you come from Uganda. You might be
no, we are
and from Gomba, you know.
I might have a problem with NRM dynamics here, down here, but our leader Tasovia, the principle is the principle. What he says has to go. You get it's like. But yeah, for me, I think our candidate really, we haven't.
You said did very well. In
explaining what, trying to highlight what he plans for the next 5 years. Although NRM has not yet launched its manifesto, so of course you are looking forward to seeing what it was, what it is. I mean, the last one was very specific on certain things, and I think the president has a team headed by Willis Bashasha that does the manifesto implementation and supervision and stuff like that. It gave a score of about 83% or 88%.
Jesus Christ! In Uganda?
Yeah. From his promises of the last 5 years, and that's the score they have given themselves. I believe that it happened. The major one, of course, was I think what was it? What was that major thing?
Who was Mark? You need an independent person.
The further and continued.
But did you think
for industrialization was one of the big things, and he named the different places that have come up. Mbale Industrial Park with and all the incentives they are giving there. Industrialization really.
Have you been to Namamve Industrial Park?
Yes, I have. And what is happening in Namamve is something phenomenal. And you see, while people look here and think that our manufacturing is being controlled by foreigners, you have 80% of the people in Namamve are Ugandans.
You said 80% of
80%, yes.
Not investors.
Investors. I mean, even in the investors, you might be looking at what? Roofings, but the local, because the Ugandan investors who get some of these parks are quiet businessmen. They don't want to be,
I know some, of course.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the speeches I had. President Museveni was talking about, getting the remaining 32% who are not yet in the money economy to get involved. That one he was emphasizing. He was emphasizing, like Obed said, the doubling of GDP. That would be a huge thing. I mean, to further that growth. We have been growing steadily at about 6.3, which in the region is very good, with the exception of Rwanda, which is doing 7. But what you see there is that we are doing very well, pushing economically and reviving coffee. For example, has more than doubled. Or in this period, you can assume, or when we were discussing the coffee thing and how harmonization they were going to, that all happened. This campaign, the last manifesto thing that he had talked about was streamlining government. They eliminated how many parastatals. So anyway, what I saw with the other candidates, I mean, Bobi Wine came and he gave us his speech of revolution. But he was appealing to the emotion, not the ideas.
He didn't say anything that what he was going to do.
Yeah, it wasn't so much. It was, this is the time we need to go.
But different campaign strategies work for different people.
I agree. Yeah. What I'm saying,
what you want to give them.
No,
not to come and
if I want emotion, and I know emotion is going to give me the votes that I want.
Yes, I'll go there. And I'm not blaming him for that. But as a Ugandan today, am I going to go and vote emotion, or am I going to go and vote for the idea? I'll give you an example.
You seated in this studio, you an elite person who has stood even for election in your area. You certainly have that capacity of being able to think, and you say, let me analyze Museveni's manifesto, the things that he's going to achieve, the economics. There are some people who don't think about that.
I agree. My thing is this, that unfortunately, the population where it is right now, we are not going to vote on ideas. But the ideal thing would be that everyone presents their ideas and we go and vote for that.
Isaac contradicts himself.
No, I have just explained that your candidate, who we all know,
whose candidate?
Your candidate came and gave us a motivational speech. Okay. And we are saying, running a country shall not be done on emotions. We are looking for solutions we are looking for solutions that be able.
You can give hope to people. It's also a good thing.
Yeah, but we can look. The issue here is when you get into that chair is when you understand the effect of inflation, the effect of production.
But you first get there.
Then my point is,
Museveni know that he was going to get there.
But he was clear on what he was doing.
Let's go for quick commercial break, and when we return, we shall pick it up. Welcome back from the quick commercial break. My name is Derek, and I have Isaac. I have Obed and Jimmy discussing topical issues of this week. I just wanted to give some information to the listeners, but also to the people, my panelists, that Isaac here says we are growing. Our GDP is growing at 6.3%. And Rwanda, which is higher than us, is growing at about 7.12. Kenya is growing at 4.5, and Tanzania is growing at 5.5. But now we get to something actually the elephant in the room. That is the per capita GDP per capita.
Yes.
Uganda is at 1,000. 1,027 something.
No.
Yes.
No. We are 1,100.
No. We are not.
Okay.
We are not. The other day we were even.
We Google and we finish.
Google, yes.
We are in the middle income, and middle income starts at 1,046.
And Kenya is at 2,200 something.
Yes.
That's per capita.
Yes.
And when we looked at the GDP, they were growing actually very slower than us.
Yes.
And when you look at Tanzania, it is at 1,180 something. Rwanda is at 999. That is GDP per capita. For us, when we look at the growth of the GDP, we assume that this is an entirety of the country, that this carries everyone in the country, not forgetting that in this room here, there is a possibility that Jimmy here has 100 million on his account, and and me, I have 100 shillings or even less. So when they are calculating the GDP, yes, they will assume that an average of like the average of us.
That is your per capita you're discussing.
Now, yes,
GDP is the production that the entire country produces.
Yes,
the gross domestic product, the production of the country, regardless of who and who. That's why in the world, when they are ranking, wealthy nations, they use GDP, the production of the country. So the debate has been either you change the parameters, we use per capita, we use this, but you see a country like
Singapore
will probably have a higher per capita than America, but cannot be richer than America because America produces a lot more with its population. So
I want to
that
come
is
to
where
Jimmy.
we are. But
I want to come to Jimmy.
The economics class is after Jimmy.
No. You'll be shocked that a country like Equatorial Guinea has GDP per capita than most European countries.
Yes, most European countries. So it's a flawed. Okay, I don't think it's flawed, but the discussion
This is one
has
of the
changed.
poorest countries.
It is, but their GDP per capita.
So Jimmy, I want to ask you an economic question here. I want to ask you the messaging of the people. We have seen the Muntu messaging is around ideals in financial growth of this country, how for instance the army is treated in this country, law, rule of law and things like that. When you look at, I have not seen the one of Munyagwa.
Munyagwa said that he's going to do what? To scrap Swahili.
Yeah, Swahili, because he doesn't like the Kenyans.
And also
that they don't need
Uganda out of the East African community.
Yeah,
because you are not benefiting.
I think Munyagwa is going to be our Katumba Oye this season.
So, looking at the messaging, especially the promises that are made, Bobi Wine's speech is more freedom oriented and driving the freedom narrative. And we have benchmarked that there are so many countries that have moved to change government through freedom speech and which of course Obed and Isaac will try to downplay. But a country that has had the same president for 40 years, if you see someone speaking freedom and stuff like that, I'm very shocked that these two are surprised. What do you think about the messaging of everyone?
So everyone will try to have a message around their strength. So you see, Mafavi talks about the economy because he has a very good background in that.
Putting money into someone's pocket.
Yes, because it's been from his work as Member of Parliament, working at the World Bank. So he understands that very well.
The boss of Bugisu Cooperative,
Yes.
Up to today, he has never changed.
When the President Museveni talks about, the NRM candidate talks about protecting the gains. I don't know if he elaborated those. I mean, Isaac has been explaining all the good things that they have done. So he's protecting that and then trying to take you to the next
level.
To middle income. I don't know.
Higher middle income.
Income. So
that's the target.
Yeah. So that is his strength. The security, all the things he's been doing. So you're not regressing. We are doing better and better. So every candidate will try to package around what they can do best. And then the new candidate, Bobi Wine, talked about protest vote. I think that was a bit confusing. People are like, protest vote, so do we go to vote? But you're running, so maybe elaborated more. So I think it's more about, protesting against all these arrests, the human rights abuses and all that. So it has to be like explained more to the people that protest vote does not mean guys don't go to vote. It's just we are protesting against all these bad things they're doing,
the injustices and stuff.
All the people who are in prison, investment and all these things. So every candidate will will try to package around the strength. And the NRM candidate has done that. I think Bobby Wine has done that. Even when you go, I'm told, met some people saying, oh, he spoke well, but I think Swahili now, if you say we'll ban Swahili, Kiswahili is what, even if most times it's looked at as a militant, or here it's the UPDF people who, but it's the way we communicate. When we get out of these places and you meet outside there, and then you want to communicate in a way that maybe other people don't, you will find yourself now, if you don't know Kiswahili, what else will you say?
In Kenya, language is very important. When you go to Kenya and you're speaking Luganda, there is a likelihood that someone will whisper, "Yo, Lugha easy." Language of thieves. But here also, when people are being attacked in the night, they say "fungua." So the crisscrossing, but I think it's
demonized that the past armies they are using.
No,
Kiswahili, but I think it's the Kiswahili
is and should be. Yeah. Obed, I want to ask you the question of rule of law and human rights abuses. Those have been very, very glaring pictures in the Museveni government in the last 5 years or even more. And this is not something that he tackles. If, like you say, there are sometimes you tell us here that there are some stubborn people, there are some errant officers, and these are not things that he comes out to accept or even like address or even condemn. Do you think there are many questions that are going to be asked to NRM about human rights violation vis-a-vis all the injustices and the lack of rule of law?
You see, to be honest with you, Wandela.
And Obed, each time you call me by my surname, I know you're going to make a pregnant message.
You're a noisy journalist. You are even critical of government.
There you go.
But I know you leave this studio knowing you're going to your home in Kisasi and enjoy a good sleep.
I'll be moving with
those that I was in some debate with Othieno, so he was also arguing the way you're arguing. He said, I wish you can go back and do proper evaluation why you UPC people lost power so quickly. If you are a state and you're in charge, you must take strong decisions for you to remain peaceful and intact. If you want to see a gamble with criminal gangs who were unruly and untamed, go to a country that used to be called Sudan. That's how they began. Those gangs came under a political wave. And at the end of the day, midway, they became violent. The state could no longer control them, and what followed was the collapse of a country called Sudan. So
it was the 8th largest economy in Africa.
Yeah, if you talk about ARS, this is the ARS that Bobo is parroting around. In Ixoro, where this mass comes from, they will not click.
What are you talking about?
They're not Greek. They've lived peacefully. They drink their musururu and sleep in the middle of the road. Nobody is picked. If you go to Sebei or my single and whatever, I don't remember anybody being picked in the single for the last 10 years or 5 years that we've talked.
But they picked them in Kampala.
Those are urbanized, criminalized gangs.
So, but there are many urban centers. It's not only Kampala.
No, I'm telling you, those ones are picked in Kampala, and the record of criminal behavior is also there. I'll tell you, there is no way you run a state minus coming hard to people. You have sufficient intelligence that they can create serious disorder. So you must rein in and tame those who are, look at most of these people who have been arrested. They are not your class. They are people who have, consistent challenges and failure. Some of them have failed in many things. So they are angry. Let me even give them that benefit of calling them political actors. They are angry political actors, and
does
is it bad to be?
You didn't have to be arrested. What I'm saying, if you're angry and you are poor, by the way, let me tell you this much: even if your words are inciting, you should be reined on.
But then you should be arrested. You are inciting.
No, I'm saying
you are inciting.
Let's go for a quick commercial break and then we shall have it and even more. 933 KFM. My name is Derek Wandera. Welcome back from that quick commercial break. I have Jimmy, I have Dismas, I have Obed Katurebe, and I have Isaac. Ladies and gentlemen, the roadmap is now out. I've just received this from on my phone from the Electoral Commission, and President Museveni will begin his campaign on Monday in Munyonyo and Machinye.
Correction. In Munyonyo, he's launching the manifesto.
Okay.
But the real first rally will be in Luwero.
But I'm seeing because it's the Electoral Commission. The Luwero one is going to be the following day. There are 2 days.
So the Munyonyo one is a rally?
There is Munyonyo and Machinye. So if it's launching a manifesto, it's going to be in Munyonyo. Then he's going to also campaign in Machinye on the same day.
I didn't know that.
Now these names are in you know.
No. Just read KR of
NPP, that's National Progressive Party, will be in Mitiana and Kasanda.
Just to give Robert and several.
Okay. Robert Chagulanyi will be in Jinja, and on the 30th, Museveni will be in Luwero. Robert will be in Buyende and Kamuli. On the 1st, Amolatar will be for Museveni and Doholo, and Museveni and Bobby Wine will be in Kalido and will go back to his home of arrest in Luuka on the same day. On the 2nd, President Museveni will be in Lepton and Otuke. I'm ending on this. And then President Museveni will be, Bobby Wine will be in Bugweri and Namutumba. He has gone to begin from Jinja, and the last election we saw that he floored President Museveni in Busoga, the entire Busoga. And this makes me think why President Museveni has started his rally in Kampala, and Bobby Wine went to Busoga. What do you think, Jimmy, about this whole roadmap?
Of course, for the top. For NRM candidate and Bobby Wine, Bobby Wine is going to a stronghold, where he did very well. And here Museveni knows he has not done very well in Uganda, but he's trying to reclaim it.
Yeah.
So you begin from where the party has really invested heavily in Uganda. So you start by waking them up that, guys, we are here. So I think it's a good thing, but he would decide to begin from anywhere. But Uganda, Luwero, the attachment, what Luwero means to NRM, NRA. So you begin from those places where you have a very strong backing, or even if they didn't vote for him as he expected, he expects to do better this time.
Obed,
and the good thing is that they're all separated. They're not coming close to. There's no chance of them, So I think it's
Obed, launching the manifesto in Uganda is significant. What is the significance of this?
Well,
especially Kampala, where President Museveni got 12% of the vote.
Like Jimmy said, you insist and show love and whatever where you aren't like in the previous elections. And like Jimmy said, President Museveni has really tried to make good with the Kampalans. Quite many youth have benefited from the several programs of poverty education. You've seen him really funding garage boys, funding ghetto boys,
giving them money,
women funding their projects.
This money they give these women who are smaller earners and whatever. He's tried to dig in, and like Jimmy said, Ruwero went off his hands, and Ruwero means a lot to him, and I think he wants to go and have a good conversation with them and see how we can regain Ruwero back his territory, back to his grip.
Dismas, looking at the two candidates, one is starting from his stronghold, another is starting from his lowest hold, softest, like the weakest. In the grand scheme of things, do you think these two are trying to be very strategic in the way they are approaching this campaign this time around?
But is it them who have decided where to start from? Or
yes, I know for sure.
Or it's the mapping of the Electoral Commission?
No, I know for sure that these had suggestions, and I know that President Museveni wanted to begin here, and also Bobi Wine wanted to begin from Busoga. Maybe the districts have changed, but I knew that Bobi Wine was going to start
different strategies. You can imagine that, like of course, like Obed is saying, there is the biggest chance that Museveni wants to begin in Uganda. You can see that if he's beginning in Munyonyo, then he's going to Luwero. He wants to go to the areas that he finds himself weakest, areas where he thinks that he needs to garner enough support, because the other ones he can always go there. He knows, for example, some places like Soro, he will get his votes. Although now these days I find there are some noob chaps. So, but that's one.
But still, the percentage is Ijana Kujana. 100%.
Yes.
So then
as you sum up.
Yes, as of course the other one is Chagulanyi. Chagulanyi, wherever he's going, he's going to tell people that I'm back, I'm here, please don't forget and don't change. Remain the same people that supported me in the last election. Basically different strategies for different
yeah. And I want to come to you, and you will give me a minute to finish my stuff. Okay. But I want to come to you. What do you think about this whole thing? You've talked a lot about the strategies that the two are using. Now we see them in Kampala, and then
I'm going to do this as a prediction. I expect that NUP is going to lose.
I haven't asked you what.
It's okay. Now you asked me the question.
Why are you setting your own questions?
Yeah, because I don't.
I am the setter of questions.
Yours is vague. Let me answer you because no, I'm saying.
You remember those kids in the secondary school who said that who is Nyungu ya Mawe? Okay, if it was not Nyungu ya Mawe.
No. The thing is the strategy. I honestly believe that, like you have highlighted, President Museveni is beginning with the central region. Because it was not catered. It didn't treat him well in the last election. Bobi Wine has gone to Busoga, but I feel like the focus that has been put on the central region, especially some of us who have who come from this central area and participate in these elections, I really see that they have really put a lot of emphasis this time on in this area, and I'm thinking that they will make inroads in certain constituencies and get back some wins. For example, for us from Gomba East went to NUP in the last election. There's a very strong NRM candidate there now, and you feel like chances of them getting back that constituency are going to be very high.
Who is the candidate there?
The incumbent is a guy called Sazi. He's of NUP. He has not been very vocal at the national level, but NUP is NUP on the ground. He's contesting with a guy called Harris.
Something.
He's very Kalule Harris.
Okay.
So it's going to be. It's for me the impact is eventually this election. NRM is going to do much. Don't worry, but me, I'm telling you.
Okay.
NRM is going to do much better.
I want to give you an icebreaker as we go away. It is going to be very bad because in Kampala we have two candidates on the first day. Munyagwa is in Kawempe and President Museveni is in Machindi. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been us.
So they will meet where?
They are in Kampala. The crowd is the other side. And
they will meet at Kalere.
Have a good weekend until next week and with a bigger panel and even bigger discussions.